Hello, I am the narrator, and before this episode begins, Maddie, George, and Dr. Von Schorman will all be talking about a very small creature that you don't want to feed past midnight. Without further ado, let the show begin. Good morning, everybody. My name is Maddie, and today we're going to be talking about the Gremlins. What is it? And did it come from a movie or a video game? Now, the Gremlins is, of course, the little creatures from a Christmas movie that was published in summer. Kind of confusing, don't worry about it. So anyways, the name Gremlin actually comes from a military term. Back to the Royal Air Force during World War II. When something went wrong with the plane, they would blame it on a little monster called the Gremlins. Instead of the soldiers taking action for their responsibilities, they would blame it on an imaginary creature. Apparently, the Gremlins come from a planet far away, which kind of explains why they're unique looking. So both Gremlins, both the good and the evil Gremlin, you can see a good comparison right here, both of them have these very large ears. And the good Gremlin is very short-limbed. It's kind of little stubby-like, and it's very fuzzy. It's got this brown and white fur all over it. Very cute and Hannibal. And then we have the bad Gremlin, who, of course, has very elongated arms and green scales, as well as sharp claws and teeth. Now, another thing to note about the Gremlins are basically like the 3 or 4 things that these characters run off. First thing, I put 2 fingers up. First thing, bright lights and sunlight kills them. Second thing, they can mass produce when wet. I mean, it's a bit gross. Third thing, don't feed them after midnight. That is how you get the evil Gremlin. And those are like the 3 characteristics of these Gremlins. So according to the movie description, there was this old man from China who was selling lots of strange things. And there was this dad looking to get a present for his son when he found the little Gremlins. The interview. How close is it related to the inspiration? Hello, Maddie here with the interview, and I am joined by a lovely individual. Can you tell the camera a little bit about yourself? Well, my name's Bob, and of course I am a horror movie fan. So tell me, when's the last time you've seen the Gremlins movie? The first one, to be specific. Actually, about a week or 2 ago. I'm doing this like 90s horror film binge watching. That's awesome. So what can you tell me about the Gremlins in the movie? Well, that's kind of a tricky question. You see, the Gremlins in this movie are kind of like main characters almost. So I'll kind of explain some of the bigger details of when they were in the movie. So, in the beginning, there was this older teenager who got prisons, which was one of the Gremlins. On the first day the Gremlin, the dad explained all the things in order to take care of it, you know, like no sunlight, don't get it wet, and don't feed it after midnight, kind of a thing, you know. Yeah, so on that day, he had a terrible trouble keeping the little thing out of the light. And then, like, the next day, he showed his friend and got the Gremlin wet and discovered that they made an entire group of little Gremlins. And they were just troublemakers from the beginning. They even tricked the boy into feeding them after midnight so that they would basically be in this egg and form into the evil gremlins that we know and love, which would jump out. Whenever they were free from their little enclosures, the mom, full on credit, went on a killing spree, taking out all of the gremlins except for the leader, which of course got away. And then the boy managed to catch up to the leader only to find him jumping into a pool, which if you know anything about getting them wet, he made an entire army sitting in that pool, basically. And the goblins just kind of destroyed the town until, of course, the hero of the day, which was the boy, defeated him. Well, thank you so much. This has been Maddie with the interview. Back to the main show. So, this is kind of a weird thing, but apparently the Gremlins, the fuzzy one, the good gremlin, is inspired by mice. By day, it would pleasantly enough, Columbus said. But by night, what sound like a platoon of mice would come out in it. To hear them skittering around in the darkness was really creepy. Goblins are similar to gremlins in that they're also known for destroying things due to the pure fun of it. Columbus was deeply troubled by his mice problem that he decided to share it to the world in a creative way. As well as the goblins, just like Gremlins. A clip of the character. And are there any Easter eggs or hidden things? Also, down in the description, there is a clip of the movie when the evil gremlins are like wreaking havoc in the town. Fair spoiler warning, a woman does get thrown out of a window in this clip, so if you don't really want to see that, then don't watch it. Also, a bit of a fun fact. So, basically, two things actually. The director made this movie but didn't want it to be rated R because it was a little more graphic than PG. So in 1984, the people who rate movies made PG-13. Who would have thunk? So there's now a rating in between PG for everybody, even kids, PG-13, and then rated R for people who have the stomach. Yeah, so that's actually really cool. Second thing, apparently the Gremlins, both Gizmo, the good gremlin, and then Stripe, the bad gremlin, who is all over the place, was supposed to be one character. But because the producers and the designers loved it so much, loved Gizmo, they decided to make him two separate characters. So, pretty interesting fact there. Alright, so since the Gremlins are practically replications of goblins, that's what we're going to be basing them on. Yeah, and I'm ready for it. Wait, what about me? What do you mean? Well, you said it yourself, the Gremlins were inspired by mice. Oh. Well, do you think there's enough information to actually compare them? Well, other than appearance, really there is no similarity, but I think it would still be good for people to know about them. I say you should do it. George first, and then Dr. Raymond. Good morning, everybody. My name is George, and today we're going to be talking about mice. Information about the animal and what it looks like. Now, a little bit of an interesting thing about mice and their infestation. So apparently the most common times they come like into your house is a... Wait, when was it? What's the 2 coldest months of the year, George? Don't let me make me spell it out. Duh. In October and February, to get away from the cold. An interesting adaptation that they have is that they are so small they can fit into a hole as little as a dime. There's something else I was supposed to tell you. Oh my goodness! Do not touch the mouse! Right. Do not touch mice barehanded on any circumstance. Except maybe for a pet. But those are... Even then you should wash your hands. Because mice can carry about 200 transmittable diseases to humans. We can catch them and get sick. A mouse is a small rodent with a pointed nose, furry round body, large ears, and a large, often hairless tail. Where they live, how long they live, and how do they get their food? Mice have an extremely short lifespan. You see, in captivity, their life is kind of expected to about 2 years, give or take. While in the wild, it's only estimated to 5 months. Now, out in the wild, mice live in burrows underground, in areas like man-made structures, forests, or greenlands. Another thing is mice are extremely small. That's a given. So that means that they have to constantly be eating. And the mice eat, on average, about 15 or 20 times a day. So it makes sense to find mice around the source of the food, whether if it's in your garage where you store cans of food, or near your kitchen. What they eat, and what are their predators? Its scientific name. Mice have quite a few amount of predators. They have foxes and cats, as well as other predators like wild dogs and birds of prey. Now, mice are omnivores, so they eat plants like fruits and grain, as well as meat. Mice are cannibals too. Right. Mice will basically eat anything they can fit in their mouths, even each other if food is scarce. That is right, mice will become cannibals at the right circumstance. Its mating habits and some random facts. Now, you are probably wondering, how do mice not go extinct with their expected lifespan to be only 5 months? Well, you see, we have an answer for you. A female house mouse can give birth when they are only 2 months old, and they are able to have up to a dozen babies every 3 weeks. This means she could have as many as 150 offsprings in a single year. Mouses are a very common food plant that they are many carnivores and omnivores. In a way, it makes sense if they were to survive being mass killing, they'd have to mass produce. Mice are nocturnal. which means they are practically vampires. Which kind of explains why whenever you're sleeping, if you have a mice infestation, you always hear them when you're trying to fall asleep. Now, I'm sure everyone has been on the internet long enough to seen a video or two of mice jumping at the cameraman. Well, this is kind of interesting because mice have extremely long... That is bull. They have extremely powerful legs, and they can jump up about a foot in the air. Another kind of disgusting fact... Wait, what was it? George, they are constantly peeing. There is no other way to explain that. Right. Mice are constantly dripping pee. They don't really have a strong bladder. But, on the bright side, they don't vomit. Lastly, one of the smallest mice in the world is an African pygmy. Questions? Well, it has been a very, very long time since we've done questions. I have, in fact, not one, not three, but 2 questions. First one. Why do mice chew up things that are not edible? Are they stupid? Well, no, in fact, unfortunately. They do this because they're making a nest. They need materials to kind of form something that is comfortable. So whenever you see, like, paper chewed up, or wood, or anything, really, first, of course, that is a sign that you have mice, but it's also they're making a nest. I need my paper back. Second question. Why are mice and or rats used for testing? Excellent question. Well, you see, I can't really get into the specifics right now, but basically, a human mind and or body works very similar of a mouse. You can go further into detail about that. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Von Scheumann, and today we'll be talking about goblins. Where the legend/myth came from, information about the creature. Now, goblins come from many different folklore. One of them is British, which is what we're going to be focusing on. Goblins are known for being small green creatures that like to hide out in the darkness and terrorize people. Goblins have almost universally been described as troublemakers. They are either simply tricksters and mischievous, like immature children, or malevolent, evil dwellers, dangerous to human beings. Okay, so supposedly, hear me out, goblins come from this gnome king called Gahab. And his people, his minions, type of speak, were called Gahoblings, which is where the name came from. Now, goblins, they are just the devil. Okay, they have been known to stealing many things, from small objects, possibly valuable objects, all the way to women and children, and replacing them. So there have been stories of babies being replaced with baby goblins, which are just terrible.
How it looks, what powers or abilities does it have?
These little short creatures have the ability to become invisible. Now, because there are different goblins in many different folklore, they all vary with abilities. Some may use dark magic, while other is purely just demonic.
Is it mortal or immortal? Where does it live?
In European folklore, goblins live up high in the mountains, waiting for people to basically fall into their traps. Just mess with them and, you know. Children!
An interview. Are there any sightings of the creature?
Also, down in the description are like, it's like a tier list of sightings of potential goblins. I will warn you, the graphic is terrible. And yeah, so don't give your hopes up on the video I have to offer. But yeah. That is unfortunately the end of the episode. If you are fascinated by the gremlins, mice, or goblins, they're all linked in the description down below. If you've enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, and have a nice day. Good night. I had fun with this episode, so there should be bloopers. You're welcome. Get a bit of sass in there. Sass. Also, I wanted to note, I'm looking kind of orange right now, but look what the printer did to my script. You can see the professor, like, and then my name. They're colorful, even though they were supposed to just be a straight green. And then you can even see here for the narrator, like, look at that color. It's cool. But they didn't do that for like the teal, you see? Like the camera change. It's completely fine. What's up with that? Who knows? Anyways, kidneys, am I right? Okay, okay. Now, apparently, the gremlins come from a planet far away. And they came to Earth because they were unwanted. At least the gremlin that was on Earth anyways. Yeah, also, their appearance. So, the good gremlin, the little fuzzy one, I butchered that. I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna come in. Apparently, the gremlins came from a faraway planet. That kind of explains why they're so alienoid looking. Nothing really similar to animals, but we'll get to that in a bit. So, the good gremlin, I did it again! What's up with that? Okay. Finally, I got through that. I kept cutting out the part where I was supposed to say both. What's up with that? Right. Pencil's still in my baggie. I'm a bit unprofessional tonight. That's a pen. I got you guys. Good. That's a pencil. Because it was a little scarier than PG. So in 1984, the rating of the movie was PG-13. Get wrecked. The main was yabba-dabba-doo. Okay, Maddie, Gremlins Camera 2. Yabba-dabba-doo. Are you feeling scrumptious? Me too. Okay. And scene. That's it. Thank you. You're welcome. Good night. Oh man, it's only 11 in the morning. Can you believe that? The sun radiating from like the beginning of the afternoon. Beautiful. Also kidneys. But who's got time for those? What else? I feel like there was something I was supposed to say. Something catchy and witty and tubular. Oh. I gotta show this. So because of the fact that we're doing a kind of like research on a person instead of like plants and animals and objects, I had the opportunity to make a new topic. Look at that paper. It's beautiful. So we're going to be starting a new topic on people. Heroes or famous people, basically. Heroes just sound cooler. And I know how to spell it, so bada bing, bada boom. And our first hero is a crime lord. That's for Jabba the Hutt, though. I guess you guys are gonna know what's next. Wow. Cut! Cut it all. Went a little southern there. 200 times. It's guaranteed. So wild mice, do not. I will appear and slap your hands. Do not. Mice will eat anything they can fit in their mouths, even each other if food is scarce. You see that? Mice are even cannibals. The proof is in the pudding. Did you eat my pudding? Molly, did you eat my pudding? Hey. Cat. Okay. Mice are nocturnal. Nocturnal? I got something in my eye. Okay, we can continue. That's all I have to say. Bye-bye. Toodaloo. Make George gay. You can go home now. I'm done. Doctor, camera 2, Gremlins. Whoa, man. Gremlins? No. Goblins. Kill. Oh my gosh. That made me cringe doing that. Don't. That's on the internet forever. I can choose to take it out. But will I? No. What the? What? I'm gonna steal your wife, buddy. Okay. Duh. Yeah. Creepy stuff like that. Yes. Next page. The European goblins live up in the mountains waiting for people to mess with. Silly goblins. Yeah. I don't know, it's weird. The goblins look like children, like legitimate just people. But it's whatever. If it's on a Granny video, it's a creature. Guaranteed. Absolutely. I'm feeling rather buff today. Can I even flex for camera? This cool new sweater. Bam! Okay, anyways. This is the end of the video. End of the video. Bam, bam. End of the video. This is the end of the video. End of the video. Oh.